Fans, and the Cowboys, man, they be taking us on this emotional roller coaster, man. But I think this thing ends well on tomorrow, and I'm gonna tell y'all all about it here in just a minute. Sometimes I know. What's good, people? It's your boy Uncle Fred back in the house, back in the saddle one more again. Didn't come to you last week because I was kind of waiting to see what was going to happen with the after the game. A great win, probably the best win we had this season over the Rams. And go ahead and hit that like, comment, and subscribe. And become a part of the Uncle Fred Sports Experience. I guarantee you will not be disappointed. But as I said, the Cowboys be taking us on these emotional roller coasters. The highs be high and the lows be lows. And you just kind of want some steady, right? What do I mean? Well, first of all, Cowboys come off probably the most impressive win of the season. I say that from the standpoint that I think the Rams might be the best team we've beaten this year. Okay. I think they're better than the Giants. I think they're better than the Jets. I think they're better than the Chargers. And I think they're better than the Patriots. I think everybody's better than the Patriots, except maybe the Carolina Panthers or whatever. But and those are teams we beat, right? And then we beat the Rams, who, like I said, you still got Matt Stafford, who's a Super Bowl winning quarterback. And he may not be what he was 2 years ago when they won that, but Cooper Kupp's still there, Super Bowl MVP. And they got probably a rookie of the year, and Puka Nacua leads the NFL in catches. That dude's a stud, man. I don't care what nobody says. And you still got Aaron Donald. You still got Note Boom. He's one of the guards, I think, tackles, I think. He played in that Super Bowl. He was on that Super Bowl team. So they got 4 or 5 guys that played in the Super Bowl. So I think they're a quality team, right? And we beat them by 23. Now, how the thing rolls out, first of all, I'm mad because, it's mad because he's going up to the game. We had a week off prior to the game, right? And of course, as the game was coming around, because a week off gives you a time to get everybody healthy and all that sort of stuff. And so when Wednesday came around, injury report was the smallest it's been in a long time. One person was on there was Wanye Thomas, who had, I think, a hamstring, but he was a full participant. And I'm like, yeah, we're finna go into this Eagles game. This Rams game. We're gonna have all our players. We're gonna be offensive line gonna be intact, and got a whole week off to work on their continuity. We good. Then the very next day, Tyron Smith got hurt on that dreaded Thursday practice. Like, what the heck he doing practicing? Because Tyron Smith and Zach Martin have kind of like earned the right to maybe not practice and just play on game. Just go through the walkthrough and kind of see what you're supposed to be doing and that kind of stuff. But you ain't gonna be doing a whole lot of contact. He ends up getting hurt. And I'm talking like Smokey now. Tyron, how you get hurt on your week off? And lo and behold, they list him questionable, and he don't play Sunday against the Rams. And just like clockwork, very first play, Chumadoa gives up a sack to some dude named Michael Holcomb, and starts off the drive like that. And then, of course, it was like Terrence Steele got into the act and gave up a sack on the other end on the third play. Luckily, we got bailed out by a very questionable illegal legal contact on Quentin Lake. Showing my age here, but I remember his daddy, Carnell Lake, that played for the Steelers. That's how old I am. I remember when he played. But Quentin Lake plays for the Rams, and he basically, as CeeDee Lamb went by, kind of just brushed. I think he may have pulled on his head, his face. I don't know, but it really wasn't a lot of contact there. And that bailed us out, gave us an automatic first down when we should have been sacked, and the Rams should have been coming on the field. And then the very first play after that first down, Aaron Donald sacks Dak. So really, he got 3 sacks in 4 plays. But we settle down, and Dak goes to work. Hits CeeDee Lamb for 17. Hits CeeDee Lamb again for 5. Hits Gallup for 14 on the sideline, first down. Then he comes back, hits CeeDee Lamb for 4. Hits CD Cook on the left sideline for 19. Then goes up top down the seam to Jake Ferguson for an 18-yard touchdown. It's 7-0 just like that, even after the offensive line was twiddling their thumbs for like 4 plays, right? And then the Rams come down and they go 9 plays and 60 yards. And then they got on second down and 10 at our 17. I think and Cooper Kupp got kind of held by Jordan Lewis when he's trying to make his end break, and they didn't call it. And of course, Greg Olson was like, "Now, if you're gonna call that on Lake, you can't. You got to call that on Jordan Lewis." And he's right. And I don't care what some of the other content creators were saying. Say that Greg Olson was belly aching. No, I believe in fair is fair, because if they called that on Quentin Lake on say Jordan Lewis and on a play that Mike had gotten a sack on, I'd be throwing something at the TV. So that's the way I look at stuff. And so yeah, Cooper Kupp should have got that, but I ain't mad. I ain't gonna cry, because there's been a lot of times the Cowboys didn't get the call. So sometimes you get a call that maybe you didn't earn, because the Cowboys sometimes get calls that we didn't earn, holding calls and stuff that ain't holding and whatever. So we hold them to a field goal, and it's 7-3. Then we come back down, and we go like 9 plays and like 65 yards. And again, there's another sack on third down, another sack by Aaron Donald, who had self for a field goal with about a minute left in the first quarter, and it's 10-3. It's 7-3. Then we kick the field goal. From that 1 minute mark of the first quarter to the 12:45 minute of the second quarter, we're talking about 3.5 minutes, 3 hours and 3 minutes and 45 seconds. Excuse my language, but all hell broke loose for the Rams. Let me tell you how that happened real quickly. We're going to get on to the rest of the video. We kicked the field goal. It's 10-3, all right? And when they kick it off to the Rams, it's like 45 seconds, 45 seconds left to go in the first quarter. Very first play. Stafford goes to the left flat for Cooper Kupp, and it gets read by Deron Bland. Boom, 30-yard, pick 6. Boom, just like that. It's 17-3. And it ain't even the first quarter's not over with yet, right? So we kick it off to them, and the first quarter ends, and then they change sides and what have you, whatever. So on third down, Micah gets a sack, and they have to punt. And Sam Williams comes from the left side, blocks the punt out the end zone. Boom, it's 19-3, just like that. And so they have to punt, free kick from the 20. They kick it down to Kavontae Turpin at the 20-yard line. He comes to the middle, cuts back to the right, cuts down the sideline, turns on the speed, bumped out of bounds at the 18-yard line. We go Brandon Cooks on a flanker screen for 6 yards, and then he goes CeeDee Lamb 11 yards, end zone, touchdown. Just like that, it's 26-3 with like 12 minutes and 45 seconds to go in the the second quarter. Just like that, it's 26-3. Okay, and before you knew it, it was 33-3. Now, one thing I do want to add to that, and we're going to get into the rest of the video, is that Dak threw a pick after that touchdown and made it 26-3, because we stopped them. Got the ball back, and drove down to the 10-yard line, and Dak threw a pass that got tipped at the line of scrimmage, tipped again by Sean McEwen, and it wasn't even intended for him, and it got picked. Now, here's the thing that I got to tell y'all about, and this is what makes me think, okay, maybe we have arrived, and it's going to give me some hope for the game tomorrow. Because many times before, when Dak, an unfortunate thing happens, when Dak makes a pick or whatever, the team folds. They give up a score, what have you. But you know what it did? That was like when Dak made that interception, it was 7 minutes and 17 or 18 seconds to go in the second quarter. By 5 minutes and 15 seconds to go in the second quarter, they had stopped the Rams and got that ball back to Dak, who promptly drove the ball 75 yards, rolled out to the right on third down. The corner, the safety comes up thinking Dak's going to run for the first time. I think it was 3rd and 6. Lofts that thing right over the head of him, 26-yard touchdown, CeeDee Lamb, just like that, 33-3, 30-point beatdown. For all practical purposes, the ball game is over. Now, why that made a difference to me is because I was talking to my son a few weeks back, because I was telling, because he likes the Eagles. I don't know why. But I was joking. I said, hey, your boy Jalen got a bunch of picks. Yeah, but we still undefeated at the time. They hadn't lost a game yet. They only lost to the Jets. This was before the Jets game. And they had just played Tampa Bay. I said, dude, he threw 2 picks tonight. He said, yeah, but we still won. I said, but see, that's the difference. When Jalen throw picks, the team does good stuff around him to get him them balls back. Like in the Tampa game, he got fooled on a play by a linebacker and got picked, about midfield. What did the Eagles do? 2 plays later, they sack Baker Mayfield. On the 3rd down, they get an interception, give Jalen the ball right back, and he goes right there and get a touchdown. Because that's what good teams supposed to do. Just because the quarterback throws a pick, that don't mean the other parts of the team supposed to lay down, right? Later, right before halftime, he tried to hit, I think, A.J. Brown on a corner, on a post corner, which is a route where he goes towards the middle and breaks it back toward the right pylon. I think like a 35-yard throw. And Jalen didn't do nothing wrong. He threw it where either my guy's going to catch it or it's going out of bounds. But unluckily for him, the cornerback who was covering another guy on the play broke and made a great play on that and caught that pass and tiptoed his feet in bounds and fell out of bounds at the 1-yard line for his second pick of the game. What did the Eagles do? On the very first play that the Buccaneers had at their own 1 or half-yard line, they tackled the running back White, I think his last name is White, I don't know his first name, in the end zone for a safety. And they had to kick the ball off from the 20, and Jalen promptly took him down the field and got a touchdown or a field goal or whatever it was and put the game out of reach. But that's what happens when you throw an interception. That don't mean the team supposed to lay down and let you have a score just because you threw a pick. And I like that when Dak threw that pick, the team go, oh, no, bro, we still going to get you that ball back. And Dak rewarded them by going down and getting that touchdown and putting the game out of reach. We end up winning at 43-20. The game balls, obviously, Dak Prescott, 25 of 31, 304 yards, 4 touchdowns, and that 1 interception. On defense, and then we're going to go on to the thing on defense. Obviously, you want to talk about, I'm going to tell you something about DaRon Bland. And that's what gives me hope about tomorrow. DaRon Bland, in addition to that pick 6, he led the team in tackles with 7 tackles. Okay. He had 7 tackles, 6 of them solo, had 2 pass defense, and 1 pick and 1 touchdown. Okay. What I liked about Bland is that it's one additional thing you don't get from Trayvon Diggs is on running plays, he's up in there blasting guys, coming up there on run support and hitting people. He's a physical corner that can cover, and he's a ball hawk. That's a dimension that Trayvon Diggs is still trying to learn how to do. He's a ball hawk, and he's a good cover guy, maybe a little better at the cover thing. He just got to work on not falling for the double moves. But he's not very physical because teams will run at that side because they know he's just going to kind of get in the way. But Bland comes in there trying to do damage. And I hope he does that tomorrow. But he ends up with 7 tackles, 6 solo tackles. And my man Donovan Wilson had 6 tackles, 5 solo tackles, and run support and hit from his safety position. Marquise Bell is doing that thing from playing former free safety, strong safety, or whatever he was. Playing linebacker, he has 5 tackles, 6 tackles, 5 solo tackles. Of course, now you want to go with Micah Parsons. I mean, it only has 2 tackles, 2 assisted, 1 sack, 2 tackles for loss, 1 pass defense. But it don't really give you and he got robbed on a sack too, because I think that was a strip sack fumble that they gave back to Matthew Stafford, of course, for them to punt it away, right? But I think that was a sack that they took from him because he was in the backfield all day making Matthew Stafford stand up, move up, and then even though he didn't sack him on something, he hit him on a lot of plays. Now people were saying, "Oh man, y'all weren't impressive. Y'all had Brent Rippon. He finished that game, dude. You know why Brent Rippon finished that game? Because we was tagging Matthew Stafford. See, you're not gonna make me feel bad about a win when we was hitting the quarterback. That's part of the game. If I hit the quarterback and make him tap out, that's I don't be getting on the Eagles because they made Brock Purdy tap out by tapping him on the elbow, made his PC whatever joint that was on his elbow, the whatever, and he couldn't play. That's part of the game. They made him tap out, so they had to go with Jeremy Johnson or whatever his name was. and he was not a good quarterback. That was part of the game. So we made Matthew Stafford have to tap out, not because of some fluke we hitting him, right? So that's what it is, right? So we get the high from that. We win that game, and we're feeling good because I think that's the most impressive win we had because we won in all three phases. If you look at on my thing, um, uh, we won in all phases of the game. One in the offense. The offense scored 4 touchdowns. Defense scored a touchdown. Special teams kicked a field goal and got a safety. So they got 5 points there. So there was a total team effort there, right? And special teams. Special teams scored 8 points, 2 field goals and a safety. Okay, 4 touchdowns by the offense, 1 touchdown by the defense, and then 2 field goals and a safety. Okay, in 43. So you get that high from that, and then you know that the trade deadline is looming on the 31st. So you think, okay, we're gonna make a move. Even though Jerry's like, oh, we're gonna make no move. We're gonna sit by the phone and wait for somebody to call us. But even though the insiders say no, they're making calls. But apparently, when the trade deadline came and went, and we didn't do a thing, kind of like made all the air out of what we, the high we was feeling from the win Sunday, kind of like that's the down part of that roller coaster, right? And it wouldn't have been so bad if you didn't know, because if you look at the way the NFC is laid out, you basically got 5 teams that really have a realistic chance to take the NFC. You got, and not no particular order. You got the 49ers, you got the Eagles, you got the Cowboys, you got the Seahawks, you got the Detroit Lions. Right. Really, you can't think of nobody else in that NFC that's really got a shot. Okay. Then on the NFC, on the AFC, you got Buffalo, you got Kansas City, you got Miami, you got, those teams, Baltimore and those teams like that, right? But in the NFC, you look at all those teams made a move except one. You got it. The Dallas Cowboys. Now, I don't know how Jerry Jones, Will McClay, Stephen Jones looked at how that game started against the Rams, was us giving up 4 sacks, 3 sacks on our first 4 plays, and giving up 5 sacks total in that game. And after giving up 5 sacks in the game against the Chargers, and not think that, Tyron's hurt, Chuma Doga, he ended up getting hurt in the game too. Got his ankle turned over, right? Game got finished by Awesome Richards. That you don't maybe not need, we might need to get a couple of bodies on our offensive line to kind of make sure we got enough guys to do steady the ship. Because the Jacksonville Jaguars did, and they gave up a 6th-round pick for Ezra Cleveland, who was a guard that played for the Minnesota Vikings, who they gave up because they went and got Dawson Reisner from the Broncos. So they got that guy, and this guy got an expiring contract, on a rookie deal, and so they gave up a 6th-round pick so they could get him. Because Jacksonville was looking to make a deep playoff run, they want to solidify their offensive line. Well, dadgum, ain't that what we trying to do? Solidify our offensive line because we trying to make a deep playoff run? Okay? So they give up a 6th-round pick. The Jaguars do to the Vikings and get Ezra Cleveland, who's a quality guard. Because you know what I think we would have done had we did that? You could have placed him at guard. Okay, once he got in, learned the system and that kind of stuff. But I think he had a foot injury early in the year, but I think he was ready to play. But Reisner was playing. I would have plugged him in at guard, moved Tyler Smith out to left tackle where he's supposed to be, and let's roll. Okay, Chuma, you play swing guard, swing tackle. Tyron, you play swing guard, you play swing tackle, and let's roll. Okay. People may have forgotten back about a month ago, we lost Trayvon Diggs. Okay. Now, realistically, on the very next day after Trayvon Diggs went down, we should have been on the phone and see who we can get. Because, I know we got some depth at the backfield, in defensive backfield positions. We got Bland and Jay Lou and Stephon Gilmore. And then, we got some other guys, that Israel McQuamu and some other guys. And, I know we got Noah Benogamy, but I don't want that dude playing if I can help it, right? And you got Nashawn Wright and stuff like that, but he plays special teams and stuff like that. But I I would have went and got me some cornerback help just to make sure we had enough depth because you got to replace it. You really can't place a dude like this, a perennial all pro bowler, got like more interceptions than anybody in the league. The amount of time he's been in the league, I think he's got like 15, 16, 17 interceptions in the time he's been in the league. Okay. And he's a ball hawk, and he shuts down the side of the field when he ain't going for them double moves. But he's hard to replace. So you move Bland over there, who's equally as good, in certain areas and not as good in others. But he's a quality corner, right? But then you got to move J. Lou to the spot that Bland held, right? And I like J. Lou, but J. Lou's 5'7", 5'8", and other teams know that too. So I'm gonna tell you, Buffalo Bills, when they lost Tre'Davious White, they've been on the phones, and finally they sent a third round pick to the Green Bay Packers for Russell Douglas, and the Packers gave them back a fifth round pick, so basically it netted a fourth round pick. But Russell Douglas got 15 picks in his 5 years in the league. All right, he's a quality corner, right? You don't think you could have put him in at the number 2 corner, move Bland back to the slot, and you would have had Jordan Lewis and McCormick as depth when we go to super nickel, 6 defensive backs and things like that? You don't think you could have done that? But no, they didn't do that. Okay. Detroit Lions, you know what they did? They sent a 6th-round pick. Them 6th-round picks seem to be jumping off the shelf, right? Of course, now we didn't have a 4th-round pick because we used that pick for Trey Lance, a player that won't see the field this year. But don't let that mess you up. But here's what the Detroit Lions did. They sent a 6th-round pick to the Cleveland Browns to get Donovan Peoples-Jones. Now, I know we've been having some issues with our wide receiver group because, Kevontae Turpin's trying to make his way. But Michael Gallup, he only had 2 targets Sunday. He had 2 catches for 20 yards, 2 targets, I think. And so you don't think a 6th-round pick to kick the tires, and you could just let him go after the season. You can never have too many. Couple of things you can never have too many on defense. You can never have too many pass rushers. You can never have too many cornerbacks or defensive backs in a passing league, right? All right. And so they got Donovan Peoples-Jones. You know what the Seattle Seahawks did? They're another one of our contenders. You know what they did? They go and give out a 3rd-round pick, and they did some other things and gave up a 3rd-round pick this year, and I think a 5th-round pick in next year. And they got Leonard Williams, a defensive lineman from the New York Giants, and he's going to make their defensive line nasty because they also got Frank Clark the week before. So Seattle is loading up, right, trying to get ready for this thing. You know what the 49ers went and did? The 49ers looked at that. They said, man, we done lost 3 games in a row. And I know John Lynch said, "Oh, our answers are within the house." But you know what he went out and did right before the trade deadline? He said, "Shoot, I'm gonna give the Washington Commanders a 3rd-round pick, and I'm gonna get Chase Young." And see, and that makes me double mad because the Cowboys, you know how good that defensive line gonna be. You're gonna have Nick Bosa, okay. You're gonna have Javon Hargrave. You're gonna have Eric Armstead, and you're gonna have Chase Young on the other end. You got to block them dudes, right? So you didn't think you might need to fortify your offensive line group at all. You got, 2 guys that's hurt and sick and hurt all the time with Tyron Smith and, Zach Martin's hurt and Tyler Biadasz is hurt and Terrence Steele is coming off an ACL injury. You think maybe one dude you could have got to kind of give you some, knowing they got to do that and you got to block them dudes. You got to block Leonard Williams. I'm just saying. So what I'm hoping don't happen is that sometimes these guys, I'm wondering if, you take a guy like Michael who's ultra competitive, and I know he wants to win so bad. And when I watch him and he's up there battling offensive linemen that's 40 and 50 pounds heavier than him, getting his arms, shoulders, and sides and stuff all banged and beat up and stuff, trying to get to the sacks, trying to get to the quarterback, and you look and say, dang, our front office is not really trying to help us at all. They really not trying to win right now. They really just trying to stay in the pack. And I wonder what kind of effect that have. And you look at guys like D-Law, will they start like, man, why am I even trying this hard when they're not trying, right? So there's a couple ways this thing could go. It could go that way, or it could go like, well, hey, man, them guys really believe in the guys we got in this building, so let's go out and make them proud. It could go that way too, okay? But I'm just telling you the highs, the win, And the lows, them doing nothing. They sitting there at the desk like this, and then call nobody. Didn't make no deal. Now, ultimately, what they could have done, Jalen Johnson, the cornerback for the Bears, they could have gave a second round pick and had this guy. He's 24 years old, 23, 24 years old, a good quality corner for a second round pick. Now, I know we love our draft picks. We loved our draft. But what have our last two number 2 draft picks been the last couple of years? It's been Kelvin Joseph, who's no longer with the team, and Sam Williams, who, notwithstanding this past game, because he had a pretty good game, he had an offside, but he had also some good special teams work on as gunners and coming down tackling guys on his gunners, and he made that block on special teams. So he kind of paid some dividends. I know they said free Sam, but you got to play better, dude. But he's a couple of bad plays from not being on his team next year, right? He's about to be Randy Gregory, right? So our second round picks really ain't been that good. And you trying to tell me a second round pick that you gonna pick next year gonna be better than Jalen Johnson for the Bears? And I don't think they will. Now the drawback is, he's in the last year of his deal, and they're gonna have to pay him. And I know his agent will probably be looking to get some money. But I mean, if you give him $13 million, you can make that work, right? And then you could do whatever you gotta do to Gilmore, and then you'd have your starting 2 corners. You'd have Diggs at one corner, and then you'd have Jalen Johnson at the other corner. 2 young corners for the next 4 or 5 years. And you got Deron Bland a couple of years. You'd have to pay him. But your cornerback room is set for the next 4 or 5 years, man. But you got to be able to roll the dice. And they didn't. They stayed pat. So we're going to see how that goes. So now they're up. So we get to play the Eagles. It's Eagles week, right? So I'm up for Eagles week. Now I'm going to admit the Eagles, if you look at it player for player, position by position group, front office, they may be a tad better than us. I mean, I'll be honest. I'll say that. That don't mean nothing though. Okay, because they may be better. That don't mean they're gonna win tomorrow. Okay, because I done seen teams that weren't good as other teams, but they was better that day, and that's all we gotta be is better tomorrow. Okay. All right. What does that mean? That means we gotta out execute. We got to pay attention to our assignments. We can't get, lulled to sleep by, some of the trickery and sleight of hand that they try to do with sometimes with that running game. And, I know they said, what about that tush push or brotherly shove or whatever? Look, man, we just got to hope it don't come to that. Cause that's what J-Ron Curse said. Like, no, we try to make it so it don't come to that. We try to keep them out of long and short yardage situations, right? And then the question is that, who's going to guard A.J. Brown? A.J. Brown's had one of the best wide receiver seasons I've seen. That dude got 125 yards 6 games in a row. Ain't never happened. And so do I think our guys will go up and just line him and just stop him, make him go 3 catches for 25 yards? No, I do not. But I think our combination to cover guys can make him work. Now, if I had my brothers, I put Gilly on him because Gilly, if you watched the game last year when the Colts played the Eagles last year, he kind of held him in check, okay? Because Gilly may not have the physical skills that Bland has, but he got that noggin. And he knows, he understands routes and where he's going and that sort of thing. And he can be where the guy's trying to be before he gets there because he understands the route, okay? And he just has to hope that, AJ don't out-muscle him or whatever. And he's just kind of be there and hold his position, okay? So, but the thing about our corners don't travel. So most time AJ Brown's going to line up on the left side, our defensive right, and Devontae Smith going to line up on the right side, our defensive left. So that's going to be kind of that. So, and Devontae Smith was kind of fast and quick. So you might not want that guy on Gilly too much because he's older, and the quick receivers always kind of give him trouble. The physical ones don't give him as much trouble. And I just think that maybe if you put Bland on Devontae Smith, I think he can kind of, he's fast enough to kind of keep him under wraps. And if you throw that thing wrong, Bland coming for that thing, right? Now, here's the caveat. We get ready to close the video. I ain't talking about it a lot, but I know I watched a lot of film study from people, Fox Lombardi, Will Skywalker scale, Okoye Media, and I've heard some stuff from Patrick No C Walker from DallasCowboys.com and some of the insight he's got and stuff. Jalen Hurts is injured. He's got something going on with that left knee. I think it's his left. There's a brace on it. Okay, that's going to come in important when they try to run that brotherly shove. Because I don't care how much you squat, if your knee ain't right, you can't push. You can't get the same level of push. So and then on his, one of the things that make Jalen, special is that he's very mobile. And he runs. He's a strong runner. But if he's kind of gimpy and can't move to get to the spots he want to get to, that's all the better we can get to him and make him throw maybe a little earlier than he wants to. Before he can get to the spot he normally would get to, we can make him throw it early. Okay, and maybe he'll throw it before CJ, AJ, or Devontae can make their break, and maybe we can get a pick or we get a couple of deflections on third down. We'll get them off the field where our offense can cook. Okay. And I'm just thinking that, we got to get some pressure. Okay. Now, the other side of the equation, now, although the Eagles have a great defense, they got better getting Kevin Byard. And they got guys like Son Reddick, who's got 7 sacks. He's probably, I think, leading the league in sacks. But he only getting pressure. He only got like about 20 pressures. So that means only on the plays he got sacked, he don't get a pressure on none of the other plays. So he's like a non-factor on a lot of the other plays. But 7 sacks is 7 sacks. But if you watch them play the Commanders last week, Sam Howell was sacked 1 time. He's the most sacked in the quarterback in the NFL. They got 1 sack, and he threw for like 400 yards on them. Okay, made a couple of mistakes late and didn't miss some guys later. And I think, and it's a big if, because I know if Tyron Smith, I hope he plays, and I hope he plays, and he's close to what he can be. And if you can get Dak some time to throw, I think Dak's gonna cook. Because I think Dak's feeling some stuff, because he's gotten back to the old Dak where when he's not there, I'm just going to take off and get what I can get, save the down and distance. We'll go from 1st and 10 to 2nd and 10, from the 1st and 10 and 2nd and 6, 2nd and 4. And that's a very favorable down and distance. Okay. He's not sitting out there waiting and hesitating, pumping it, because bad thing. Look, it ain't there. First read ain't there. Say, let's just take off. Let's just go. Get what you can get down. Live to fight another day. And Dak's taking that on himself. Last couple of games, I've seen that. Okay. We're going to need that tomorrow. We're going to need Dak to not be hesitant, make your throws. We need the offensive line to hold up. And we need CeeDee Lamb to be CeeDee Lamb. CeeDee Lamb's been special. Last week, 12 catches, 158, 2 touchdowns on 14 targets. We need Brandon Cooks. They've been running him on them 4 and 5 yard dig routes where he's getting smacked. And do it on some of them go routes, okay? Because I believe he can get behind James Bradbury if they put him on it. I think he can get behind Bradbury because I know they're gonna put Darius Slay on CD and bracket him. So Cooks should be able to cook Bradbury. So that's what I'm looking for. And then I believe Jake Ferguson gonna be that outlet. I think Jake Ferguson is a yak dude as a tight end. I think he's going to have a big day tomorrow. And like I said, on their offense, it's like Okoye Media, and it's like Vox Lombard. Their offensive scheme is not complicated in terms of their route system. It's not complicated. It's that you can't get beat. You can't get lulled to sleep by the eye candy and the run motions and all the, the triple motions. And, is he going to keep it, or is he going to pitch it, or is he going to run it? You got to kind of, and by him being a little gimpy, maybe that run component is not a thing. And maybe if he do run, okay, we can still get him, right? The Cowboys will shock the world tomorrow. Because I know they're tired of hearing, oh, we can't beat the good teams. Yeah, you dominated the Giants and the Jets and the Patriots and the Rams. And you barely beat the Chargers, right? But when you play good teams, you can't play. I know they've heard it. I know Micah's heard it, and I know he's tired of it. I know D-Law's heard it, and I know he's tired of it. I'm sure Dak has heard it, and I know he's tired of it. Oh, I can't play quarterback because I threw some picks. And when people don't know the context, maybe the best plays weren't called, and the front office didn't always make sure you had good weapons. Your second guy was Noah Brown, who can't get off the bench on the Houston Texans, right? But I believe that they're feeling all of that stuff, and they're gonna take that with them, and they're gonna go up to Lincoln Financial Field tomorrow, and they're gonna shock the world and have the media universe upside down. And I got a score for you: Cowboys 27, Eagles 24. And I think what's going to happen, it's going to be a tie game, and I think we're going to make some plays. We're going to get in field goal range. And that dude, Brandon Aubrey, special teams dude of the week, he's going to kick a 47-yard field goal to win that thing at the buzzer. Cowboys 27, Eagles 24. And I'm going to tell you something. When that happens tomorrow, I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. I'm going to be right on here tomorrow, and I'm going to talk my ish. I'm going to talk it because we've been having to sit on this for like a couple of years. Oh, they can't beat these. They can't beat the Eagles. I mean, Jalen is so special. He's so elite. That would never be what they got. Okay. When we do beat them tomorrow, I'm going to be on here and I'm going to talk my ish. I might do a 2.5-hour video because I'm going to talk ish till I get tired of talking. All right? You hear me? I'm going to talk my ish tomorrow. Okay? And of course, I don't want to look at it from this perspective. If we don't win, I'm going to get on here and I'm going to take my medicine like a man, like you're supposed to. Hey, man, we ain't get it done. Okay? But that's a concession speech I don't think I'm going to have to make. Cowboys 24, 7, and Eagles 24. We move to 6-2 and drop the Eagles to 6 and to 6-2 or 7-2. Okay. Well, anyway, that's all I got. But the Cowboys got on this roller coaster, high for the win, low, nothing at the trade deadline, and we got build up because it's Cowboys Eagle week, and I'm gonna be ready for it. Okay, I'm ready for that tomorrow. Okay, we're gonna win that thing tomorrow, and and I'm gonna talk, and I want all the Cowboy fans to talk tomorrow. Okay, because that's gonna be our day. But that's all I got from the desk of Uncle Fred. Please like, comment, and subscribe and become a part of the Uncle Fred Sports Experience. I guarantee you will not be disappointed. That's all I got. Cowboys win. We'll catch you guys tomorrow.